This is probably going to go down as one of the funniest and coolest builds I've done. I'm taking this 3S BLX Arrma Granite and doing something with it that you more than likely haven't seen before. What am I doing with this that is so unusual? Well, you've probably seen the thumbnail and the title, so it's hard keeping surprises on YouTube, isn't it? But you've heard of the Wide Max and you've heard of the X Max wide kit. Well, this is going to be a super wide granite. Oh, look at that green. That is beautiful. Very, very nice. Always annoys me when I take this off because I can just hear it in the background. Get in the bin. In the bin! Never had a granite before. I've had a big rock and a Typhon. Never a granite. These things are on par with the MT10 from Team Associated for fun and, well, toughness. So this is the brushless version, good for 50 mile an hour if you can get 50 with these tyres. Not a review, we're not going to be running it like this, we're going straight into the build. Now, a guy called Jake emailed me it's probably about a year ago actually, or a little bit more than a year ago. And part of his job, this is such a cool thing, what he has to do as part of his job is keep Canadian goose away from like the public areas or the guest areas of wherever he works. What he does is he uses an RC car as like an electronic dog. But what he was saying was a lot of the areas that the geese are, it's really steep banks near ponds and stuff. So he had to make something a little bit more stable. So he got a granite. He put the arms and stuff off of the old Arrma 4S stuff, the Creighton and the Outcast, and made a super wide granite, and it looked awesome. He sent me a parts list and I didn't buy any of it for ages, but I really wanted to build one. And then during the time of me procrastinating about building one, the V2 4Ss came out, and the V2 4Ss are wider than the V1 4Ss. So it's going to go even wider. He's emailed me a few times since then and he's made a few adjustments. It's now a longer wheelbase. It's got a big rock body on it, but I want to go with the granite. And the reason I want to go with the granite is because it's such a short wheelbase. I want to see if we can get it nearly as wide as it is long. And then we're just going to burn it around stock because I think it's going to be so cool. It's the Creighton 4S V2 A-arms, hub carriers and stuff, front and rear, all the bearings. Most of this came from Jenny's RC. Turnbuckles, drive shafts with 17mm hexes and all the pins and stuff, king pins and hinge pins. I will leave a list of all the parts. Other things I need to add is I need to add different suspension to it. I think I've got some. I haven't ordered any because I think I've got the right suspension, and we need to put some 17mm hex wheels on it. But this is going to be so fun. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to do the rear first because I think you'll get a nice wide rear on it. I should be able to show you looking down on it how much wider it is. Are you ready? Check that out. That's so wide. Look at that. That is going to look so cool. So I've put the Arrma suspension back on because of the extra, obviously the length and the leverage in the arms. It's just a bit soft, but that angle shows how wide it is. I've just put the Team Quali Skeeter wheels and tyres. I'm probably going to get some new ones for it. It's a new build, so I'll get some new wheels and tyres. Does my butt look big in this? Right. I'm going to do the front, get some new tyres, and then, well, we'll have a look at it and then we're going to see how well it runs. So before I reveal the super wide granite, these are the wheels and tyres I have chosen. These are actually for a Traxxas Max, but because they've got a 1/2 inch offset, it means it's made this even wider. Are you ready? I mean, that's a good stance like that, isn't it? Not sorted the suspension out yet, we'll talk about that in a minute, but are you ready? I'm going to spin it round. Oh yes. Look at how wide that thing is. That is crazy. Super wide granite. Done. So if I put that wheel there, just on the edge, just over 47mm, and then if I put it that way to measure the wheelbase, it's wider than its wheel. Well, actually, it's wider than the whole length of the truck, even including the wheelie bar. That wheelie bar is sitting at about 45mm. Oh, that's awesome. Problem is, the front hasn't got enough travel really, so it sits, as you can see, that's a bit fully offload. You can see it sits quite flush, so we need longer shocks on the front. The rear sits up okay, but it's quite a bit of leverage there. So these ones from ZD Racing, these are the fronts, which should fit. They're the rears. They might be a bit long, but I'm going to put them on anyway. If they don't fit, we will find some alternatives. But suspension aside, this thing has turned out exactly how I wanted it to turn out. And then wheels just make it that little bit wider. So good news, the rear fits. So they weren't too long, and I've adjusted it so I could get it, you could get it really high if you wanted to, but I wanted it to sit a little bit flatter, but obviously you've still got that travel there. So now that I know the rears fit, I'm going to get the fronts on because I'm sure they are going to be fine. Before I do that, I just want to talk about another Arrma. Now this dude wanted me to give him a Traxxas. Well, I can't give you a Traxxas, but I am going to give you the chance to own my Arrma Infraction NASCAR edition. Well, it's just a NASCAR body. And this is the car that powered me to over 100 mile an hour. I'd never been over 100 mile an hour with anything other than this RC car. So far, anyway. Yes! Yes! 105 mile an hour. I've finally done it. I broke 100 mile an hour. Since them runs though, I have switched it back to stock with the stock gearing as well, so it's ready to bash. It's got contact RC foams at the moment, but I will be supplying it with a new set of hoons ready to fit as well. I'm also going to throw in a brand new Hobbywing setup, the same as what I had in this when I hit 105 mile an hour. It's not the one that was in it because I've used that for a different project. So if you do want to push it into 3 figures, you can. So there's a link in the description for the prize competition for this. Not only will you be getting this NASCAR Infraction with a new set of hoons for you to throw on if you want to, and a new set of electronics if you want to throw that in instead of the stock stuff. I'll also be throwing in a t-shirt and an official Team TRC mug. Yours won't have coffee in it though. So there's links in the description where you can get this for as little as £1 single Great British pound. You can enter free by post as well, but you need to be quick if you want to do that, because from the minute you see this video, you've got 2 weeks, and then this thing is going to a new home. It is open to everyone across the globe. As long as your country allows you to enter prize competitions, you'll need to check. You do have to be 18 or over as well. I will ship this to you for free. I'll also cover any taxes or custom duties you've got. It has been very well loved. And if you don't think you've got a chance of winning, because you don't win anything, the guy that won my Porsche 45th anniversary, it was the first competition he'd ever entered. He bought 10 tickets and he won it. The guy that won my Bandit never won anything before. He bought 5 tickets and won the Bandit package. So, gotta be in it to win it. There's a link in the description. And there it is, all done. I put the rears back to the normal place in the end because it was sitting too low. But now I shall show you the suspension is perfect. Well, it's perfect for me anyway. So it will sit, that is the max height of it, but it sits a little bit lower than that. You ready? Look at that. So nice. It's funny, I had to move it closer to the camera to get a side-on view. If I turn it around like that, I have to move it back because it's wider than the wheelbase. All right, let's go charge a battery and see how this thing drives. Here we go then. First go. Yes. These are beasts. I forgot how much power these things have. Stability. Oh yeah, we're there. Oh. Oh, Arrma need to make one of these. Please, Arrma, make a super wide Granite. Runs so smooth. I think we need to adjust the suspension a bit. It's a bit soft, but although it gives it nice handling characteristics, doesn't it? Wheel nuts. Struggled to get them tight. Had to get a 17mm socket and grind it right down.
So it does backflip with the right launch. Couple of wobbly tyres, but it's the tyres rather than the wheels. I guess they've not been glued on properly. Anyway, watch that, hang on. Look how it turns in. Just digs in and turns, that is awesome. Front suspension's looking very low now. Yeah. Definitely needs tuning. I'm not doing anything crazy here. It's usually my famous last words, but I just wanted to show this is a nice stable basher. Oh yeah, easy backflips. What was I talking about? So apart from being absolutely awesome, there's a few little teething problems we need to get over now. A couple of the tyres are a little bit wobbly on the rim, nothing really major, but what made it look worse was when the suspension's fully offloaded, hopefully I can show you here, listen carefully. Well, you don't need to listen carefully. That's the angle of the drive shafts. Drive shafts are a really steep angle when it's fully offloaded. With the suspension loaded, much smoother. I thought I'd blown a diff or something at first when I heard that, but turns out it's just because of the crazy long arms. A few scuffs on the body, and it did have a couple of hard hits, especially nose diving in there, but Arrma tough, eh? Arrma tough. So speaking of Arrmas, if you want a chance of winning this awesome prize, then link is in the description.